Rechts. Sarah, du bist gut da. Komm nicht da. Komm auf.
With the legs, yes please, we run.
Sarah, bist gut da. Mit ins Feld ist gut. Meine Stimme. Ja, Achtung, geht, Sarah! Letzte! Komm, Achtung, auf weg! Jetzt, Sarah, ja! Achtung! Jetzt dazwischen offene! Sarah ist gut! Ja! Push back!
Let's go, Space! Come on, Space! Hey, hold on,
Yeah, Ali! Down there, Luke! Work, Luke! He wants the high release inside. Matsu! Don't control the height. Oh, yeah! Inside. Yes, Ali! Good, Ali! Around, Ali! Get you around! Stay around! Up there! Yes. Around, clear around! All around! South! Inside, let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome to Spring Tour in Padua. We've got the first game today, Tiefseetaucher against Tiefseetaucher, and it's shaping up to be a very intense match. He's already got a point, and Tiefseetaucher looking to put one in on their side, and that's for Meyer. And a nice flow. Yeah. Nice go through the middle, tries to even put a head on there, a bit of body contact as well, but doesn't matter for Santamaia. Tiefseetaucher will be on defense again. Pulling to the other side. Seems to be a more female matching player point as a female player is pulling it as well. Goes to the near side. Looking back into the middle. Different isolating a player. The same thing with just really have to look up. Shot kind of getting high now, and they get evidently through the middle. Back in around. Looking for a continuation into the break set and get an immediate pass into the middle. And the pick call will stop the play. First, a pick is if one player is stopped. So the defensive player is stopped by any opponent or any player on the field to run after their opponent. That's another nice inside shot. With a big around with which side of the field they're attacking. Inside pass and a nice ball grab. And the around shot goes into the end zone. That's going to be close and great grab on that side. And there's a violation on the field keeper with waving their hands, which means a stoppage of some sort occurred. So it does seem like this will go back. I'm still, unfortunately, not entirely sure what happened, but it seems like players on the field have figured it out. And they will replay. Nice redemption to go back. For the around shot, the mark is off by a little bit, trying to prevent any break throws from deep space. Up the line shot goes, and they're on the far side now. No handler seen there, and that one is a big float to pass. It worked out for them. Up the line again, and this time setting up for a perfect shot into the end zone for deep space, and that's a score. It took them quite a while to score, and the Tiefseetaucher did very well at stopping their flow and really pushing them from one side to the other, but not having them advance too much down the field. You can see that they're always looking for these continuations to the further sides, and then isolating players in the end zone. Very interesting that they don't have a clear handler set up, but they're or the one person with the disc is the last, and then they're actively running into the space, really putting this into space and letting people run under. But very clean. This point took quite a while, 3 minutes, but no turn whatsoever. Of course, that stoppage, they had to redo it, but they saw that they could do it again and again. So Tiefseetaucher offense with an isolation play and an immediate hack deep. That one's pushed down. Interesting choice for a first pass. And a break opportunity. Oh, and that just bobbled off of the hands. The defender and the Tiefseetaucher quick to pick up, go into the end zone. Pip bobbled, and what a attempt. That's actually great flow. But Bello just can't. Tries a second time, tries a third time, and the disc always just gonna hit the ground. Space with a second try to get a break early. Nice pass into space. They switching sides quickly. Sliding grab. Going over the top. Land to space. Fisher. Nice switch of sides, and they're going even closer to the sideline. Really grinding, using their legs to do this. A nice inside shot. Very nifty, and there's no defender actually on the mark. They can't exploit it quite yet. A nice inside shot for the score, and that's the break for deep space. Because they started on offense and get the point now, which will give them an advantage later at the end of the game. And Tiefseetaucher running behind. Very nice structure from deep space. They're actually using the space in front of the disc, the shorter space, very well by attacking it and going from one side to the other. And Tiefseetaucher seem to not be really dialed into defense yet, and they're going to have to work on like stopping some of these break throws or the first opportunity of a score. Tiefseetaucher start on offense again. Nice break throw through the far side. And middle with a very open player. And Nancy Myers seems to be open always. Maybe a poach from her defender. That's not a good idea to keep her that open, and she gets it in front of the end zone. Looks for an option. Looks off hammocking. Goes back around. And she's open again for the score, and that's the second score for Maya as well. What a great offense from her side. She really got every other disc. can see the defender caught off guard a little bit by Maya turning and just moving a few steps behind. So after a struggling offense, this one now works really well. It seemed like conditions are really nice in Padua. Cloudy sky, which means it's not too hot. But no rain. Of course, the female color again means the gender ratio is 4 women. And in the next break, I'm going to explain a little bit about that. I'm running a set play of an isolation and a horizontal stack. You get an immediate continuation. Get it into the middle. And is working well. And now that up the line goes into space, and he flies away with a hero grab. That was an amazing grab. He was so much higher. The player was so much higher than the disc to make enough space to even grab it and get there. And the defender was always going to be behind and actually let that slide already. We'll get a replay of it again. So there's this upline pass, and it seems a bit far, and the player just flies through and grabs the disc, trailing edge. Of course, a spike. In addition with that, seems like one of the teams has called a timeout. Probably Tiefseetaucher. So about the ratio, in mixed, there's something called the ABBA rule, determining the gender ratio on the teams. So before the game, teams decide for the starting gender matchup, which will be matchup A. It's either 4 female matching and 3 male matching, or 4 male matching, 3 female matching players. So this, so for this example, it's going to be this gender ratio A will be 4 female matching players, so they play with this ratio once, and then they play with the other ratio, 3 female matching, 4 male matching players twice, A, B, B, and then we go A again, 4 female matching players, and then it goes for A, B, B, to continue the game. Nice coach there, and Maya gets it again under and puts the disc into space, and Tiefseetaucher already in their half of the field. Wallace, that far side, looks for a continuation and finds, I think that's Gavin. Nice put into space for Hunchmeyer. Up the line again, and that one, a beautiful pass for Sarah Hammerking. It's a very stacked team from Munich. Of course, Deep Space are the defending European champions, so one would know them obviously, but this Tiefseetaucher team is quite new to the scene, although the players are not. Many of them have played on national teams and other big, mostly single gender teams, so I do believe MUC the men's team and the women's team that is now also called EUCS. I forgot the name. Woodchickers. It was Woodchickers. Previously, they kind of put their best together to create a mixed team. For this European season. Based on offense, it does seem like a poachy kind of defense from Tiefseetaucher. Rather static. As prevention of anything downfield. Until, of course, I see it and they get a gainer up the line. The continuation by Cadron, and that arcing mark is the wrong side of the orbiting. Not work out quite well, and the score goes to, I believe it's Ian Tate. You can see how Cadron catches it, and the marker goes the wrong side around, opening up the break side. So the should be marked away side to put the score in. A nice pass. So I just got some insider information from a fellow Tiefseetaucher teammate watching this stream. Thanks, Billy. So indeed, MUC is the new single gender. Both teams in Munich are called MUC now, MUC Women and MUC Open. And all of these players also play in these single gender divisions, but for EUCS ranked tournaments, they decided to go mixed. And they're going on the side stack here, opening a lot of space down the field and get the disc to hammocking, but the continuation takes a while. Sliding grab for Maya and up the line to Glocker. And this one for Panschmeier is in the end zone with 1 foot already, and that pass was a bit forced in there and pushed down by the defender. Did very well at that. But actually, I do think it was a hand block. The marker getting some fingers on there. Isolation, and the hut goes up immediately. It's gonna be a battle in the air, and Vatrin comes into this play later, has a better position, and whats the disc down. They're going back to their horizontal sack setup. Maya to the middle. O'Brien. And the layout good by Edwards. The pass goes up the line. A continuation is there, but it's looked off. They're into the middle. Hanschmeier. Hammocking. Oh, and a great switch by the defense to prevent anything from happening, but this opens up the line space and the pop pass into the end zone for O'Brien. Replay of it. That's a really nice switch. So both the defenders on deep space saw that two male matching players were moving, crossing over the spaces, and they switched, preventing that space they wanted to open up from ever being open as they're just sagging in the lanes. And then they moved away to give a new player space, just on that front cone in the end zone. By 4 the score in favor of Deep Space still, as they broke earlier. Rodron put on a near side. And there's one player isolated, but that puck is floaty and floats out the side. Player Richard Mendy thought he was still in, but the realization caused some emotion. Seibert into space, just a little too far. So Quadrant gets the disc back after but Aaron Pro Deep Space get a chance to still push in their offensive hold. Nice break pass, but again, it does seem like teams are settling in, but maybe over pushing it a little bit every now and again. And that one is just nice flow down the side. The block. That's a break back for Tiefseetaucher, and we're on level at 5-5 again. Very, very clean, very unspectacular actually. Nice up the line pass, and then puts that disc into space. The defender out of position and just put it anywhere into the end zone, and Buck probably would have gotten there in time. A much needed break in this first game of the day. Of course, there's many more games to come, both in Padua and in all the other spring tours. We're currently in a mixed pool A matchup. Deep Space and Tiefseetaucher also in this pool A. There's the Mosquitoes from Neuburg, Heroes Flying Disc from Hungary, and the Owls. We believe they're from Belgium. And Deep Space, of course, as I already mentioned, the European champions, the current reigning. Nice pass into Edwards. I believe it's Edwards. Archer back again, and that one up the line. And they break up the line pass that seemed awkward getting out of his hands, and there's a foul call on the mark. Players are just taking a breath and then resolving that it was indeed a foul, an accepted call. We'll get the disc back to Deep Space. Back in play and going around, and that's a turn in favor of Tiefseetaucher. Nice switch of the They could go on a 3-point run here if they punch it in. Not a lot of options for them, and they have to put it up, and the layout goes, but a bit too late, and that's a nice redemption pass. I bet the stall count was high already. The two players battling in the air and then going for the second effort, trying to, but that's always gonna hit the ground. Nice inside pass. Takes the big puck, but looks for a handler defender instead. The push off doesn't go, and Edwards winds up again. Already seen he can put those hucks into space, but doesn't get an option this time. So there's a very static vertical stack for a deep space. They're really isolating people one by one. Doing very well at resetting the disc. You can still count it at that around. So this time, as they try to hit the end zone again, the disc just does not connect with the intended target. Nice break around. And Gavin, the lefty, Fix with his arms vividly goes inside shot to Seibert. When that disc tipped off of the hands. That's unfortunate because now Deep Space only have half the field to work it down with, but they haven't managed to get it in the last two attempts. See if they can adjust. Well, there's a very open player in the end zone, as easy as it gets. It was a poach off from Tiefseetaucher, which made it so easy for them to hit the end zone. So I really like these looks in general, but you really have to watch it, because if you do not get there, so we can see the defender tries to somehow get in between there, and instead of running with his matchup, goes to prevent the first pass. And if it works, you're a hero, right? If it works, that's really great, because you get the turn. But if it does not work, there's a very open player, and the kind of caliber team that Deep Space is, you would expect them to exploit that as they did, and isolating this one poach player in the end zone. After many turns, Deep Space get an easy score. Maya is hit again on the under. Wallace. And the huck goes off for Maya. He jumps and gets it over his defender with ease. Holzer distributing that to Maya. It's quite nice offense, and they're really using all of their players on the field, and they're doing well at isolating people in space, where Deep Space is rather running grind team, that vertical stack, and then running isolated plays. Tiefseetaucher tries to manipulate space in a way that will create more and a different variety for them. See a timeout taken by Tiefseetaucher. So I already mentioned that there's different spring tours happening. This weekend we've got this one in Padova, which is mixed and open. We've got the one in Malmö in Sweden, which is only mixed. The one in London, I believe, is only women's. And then there's one in Grenoble in France, and one in Brno. So a lot of frisbee going on this weekend. A lot of teams wanting to get as many games in as possible, because of course to qualify for EUCF you have to have 10 games in the ranking system, and playing one of these tournaments will probably give you around 7 of the 10 games. And there's going to be 3 of these kinds of events where the EUF obviously organizes them, and you can play the whole tournament for points, which is this spring tour. There's going to be Elite Invite in a few weeks in Leuven, and then there will be Summer Invite, and both in the Elite Invite and Summer Invite there are wildcards to be passed out. So for all the winners of the Elite Invite and the winners of the Summer Invite, there's a few tournaments, a few different tournaments happening for the Summer Invite as the Spring Invite or Spring Tour. All of them will be awarded a free pass into EUCF. Of course, this is, as I already said, the goal for all of these teams is to qualify for the big final at the end of the season. Six, all even. Timeout. I wonder if they want to change up something or just wanted to put a power line on to get a break before going into half. Of course, half is at 8 points. And that puck goes so far. And that's nearly a goal. There's a stalker goal still in the back. And that's a break opportunity for Tiefseetaucher. That's probably what they cooked up in the timeout. Stops. Looks for an option. There's very well. All of them are very well guarded, and the player on deep space runs through, and that disc curves. Player curve because it's real grass, a real grass field. So it hits the grass before it ever hits any defender or the end zone. But what nice defensive coverage from deep space after that turn. And a run through block. Remy into the middle for Gavin. And Gavin's going to wind up stops with the height advantage and apparently the legs as well. Just in front of the end zone. Puts it into space. Floaty. No defender on there yet. And it goes even a little bit behind for Seibert. But he gets it with ease. And that's the break they wanted. That's why they took a timeout as well. Very good managing of the game. You know, in some situations, you have to just burn through that second timeout as well. To really, get that. Maybe get your best players out there again. Get the one break that'll give you an advantage at the end of the first half. I'm not entirely sure who coaches this team. I do think it's probably a playing coach, although there is a person riding, not looking like they're actually playing, but I could. But to whoever is coaching that team, very good managing of the game. Pretty place on that near side. They go up the line. And they missed opportunity for them. The player initially was open, and it's a nice gainer of a lot of space, probably like 20 to 30 meters. But it did seem like the deep space player wasn't aware the defensive player was behind them. But doesn't really matter as they get it again on that first throw. Fisher goes around and gets it again. Does seem like there's a discussion on the mark. Remy seems to have been pushed off. Fisher will get the disc though. Will keep the disc actually. Remy wants to put himself into a position. And a nice slice through score for deep space, and that was easy. Great flow. Did seem like Tiefseetaucher wasn't too sure about the force. Because there's this inside shot, and then before anything really works out for them, probably the defender also slept a little bit there for the end zone, because in the end zone that was a very open player. So we saw Tiefseetaucher after just one pass drop the disc again and giving the disc back to deep space. So I think those reset passes are the one thing that you have to always be able to execute well, especially in situations like this where you get a turn and you get it off the sideline, and this must have been tipped by the defender as it hit the ground so early. Deep space could now get a break for half as it's 7-7. Because as I already mentioned, halftime is to 8. The games are to 15. Nice reset into the middle. Very handler isolated now. They connect with someone in the sack, and there is a pick call of some sort. This will stay with the receiver, but O'Brien will be able to catch up. That's high stall, and this just bobbles off the hands. Hammocking already in pursuit. But there is going to be a discussion on the field. Probably another pick, as there was an abundance of players in the middle of the field. From what I've seen, the turnover will stand, though. Yeah, the play will be tapped in again. And Holzer is walking towards the disc. Not sure. into the middle. His inside shot, exploiting the open player, and Maya with another score, tripping over the line as she goes. And that's half for Tiefseetaucher. The funny looking inside shot and a poach off by the female matching player on deep space, which is easily exploited by Franzi Maya. Of course, I do know some of these Tiefsee players, Tiefseetaucher players rather well, whereas for the deep space players, not only am I not as familiar with them, they also do not have their jerseys matched up with the number, so I'm very sorry for not being able to call out or match the people correctly. So that's half. Lead 87 over deep space. We're 46 minutes in. Do believe games are to 70 minutes. Or 15 points, of course. That's always the rules for the official games. Is halftime is at 8 or at a timed half, and then the games go to 15 or to time. So when it's over, there's a different rule, but we'll get to it when we get there. So I already mentioned there's an open division and a mixed division. Ten teams in the open and 16 teams, I believe, in the mixed. $15, if I counted correctly. Just got some more insider information that Sofia Merero, who not playing because she's hurt, get well soon, Sofia, is doing some of the line calling and stats. As she's still here in Padova. Of course, she does speak Italian rather well. I'm always a bit confused, but she also played with the Padovian team last year around. In the European Championship season. But deep space will start on offense again after half. That's lashing through. Defensive player manages to get out of danger before anything in terms of body contact could happen. Nice push into the end zone for this score now. So I'm gonna say nice break there for the very open player, and then the push into the middle. Put into the middle was just a bit effortless, maybe a bit too easy, but we like to see the easy work out well for them. We see that nice easy pass through the middle again for the deep space score.
Duncan, just don't wide! Don't wide!
It's a nice isolation along the sideline, and that's with the first pass. They're already down in front of the end zone. And the poach is exploited so well by Wallace. They go up the line. No, it's not actually up the line for the defender to position themselves just in front of the poaching defender as well. So you can see the actual defender goes and switches and then tries to cover Vatrin, who runs up the line, but Wallace is very open in the back, and it just hit them over the top. That seemed like a very easy offensive possession for Tiefseetaucher. 2 actual throws, but it took them to get all the way to the end zone. Very open player under, and a nice gainer again. For an option and go with the very typical round break into space, and that puck floats perfectly into the end zone, into a position where only the deep space player could end up in. They've pointed it out before, and the deep space are doing a very good job of isolating one player after the other in their vertical stack, of course. So we see that player making a cut towards the disc, seeing, okay, their timing is off by a little bit, so they change direction to go deep, and then it's exploited by throw over the top and into the end zone. With these conditions of no wind, that's a very easy throw to hit. But because of the angle, if there was a little bit of wind, it probably would look very different. Or it could turn out different. And the hut goes up for Hammer King. She's in pursuit. It's going to be close to the end zone line, the back of the end zone even. But she manages to get there with ease. Tiefseetaucher have really changed up their offensive looks. They used to, in the first half, they used a lot of the undercuts and isolating players in the middle of the field. Actually, Maya was also open there, but Hammer King with that strike deep. It's such a good cut. This with the three-hander setup. Don't do that yet, and the poach again. Not exploited this time, and 3 defensive players, 1 offensive matchup gets the disc in the middle with a lot of trouble. Is Scuba over the top, nifty for Tate. Fisher puts it into the end zone, and what a nice flow. The disc moved so quickly. Players weren't even holding it for a second. Space get their score with ease. We've seen that's such a nifty Scuba. Of course, Tate in a very good position to receive that as well. Another defensive player was near them, but not near enough, not close enough to ever be a danger for a throw like that.
Come on, Steven. He doesn't connect. He doesn't connect. Lightning in, Steve. Get there, Steve.
But the back and puts up the help defender is there. 2 players in pursuit. Landmeyer and I think it's Ronja, but I kind of forgot her last name. Wüstheinrich, Ronja Wüstheinrich, also there, all alone. You can even see here a deep space player calling for the pickup or a poach of some sort, a switch of some sort. Doesn't quite work out for them. Deep space. We're back on offense. Their first looked off. It took away rather by Tiefseetaucher, and that one floats, but great positioning of the body, making sure the defender doesn't have or won't ever have a shot. The nifty high relief pass into a power position. Not used though from deep space. Back around and swinging it. And help defense tries to run through, but from Tiefseetaucher, but this does not quite work out. And this switch that's looked off, and they won't exploit it this time around, which turns into a missed connection on the other side of the field. Drops, walking towards the disc. Nice, put into space. Off the side, but Gavin, who looks for the deep shot. It seemed like they try to do something in the middle or manipulate the marker a little bit to create chaos. The deep space. Gavin picked up. And what a nice pass to the other side of the field. Gavin puts it into space, and that's what a trust throw. I was for sure always going to root for Tate in this situation. The player was well covered actually, but putting it out there anyway. And Tiefseetaucher go up by 2 as time expires. You see that continuation, that nice breaks that throw, and then Gavin looks up the field, and the cut is a little late, but it does seem like Tate really has the better line towards the disc as well, goes to ground trying to get there. What a nice grab for Tiefseetaucher. Tobias Borg not stressed at all by the pressure. A timeout on the field. Tiefseetaucher are up by 2 now. This was if they get one score. I do believe they win the game because once time expires, we add 1 to the higher score, and this is the cap. So the game is finished at this as soon as one of the teams reaches this point, which is going to be a game to 13, as Tiefseetaucher scored the 12th point right after the time expired. So it could be the last point if Tiefseetaucher managed to break again. If Deep Space hold, Tiefseetaucher will then have the chance to win it on offense. And of course, also Deep Space could still win this game. They're still in there. They could go on a 3-point run and win the game. It just would have to be a break. They have not broken the game yet. Nice up the line pass. Close defending and big fakes by Deep Space to put it into space, and that's far. But what a nice grab. Make sure that this stays with Deep Space. And goes on the handler set. And that inside shot to Archer, just in front of the end zone, holds off of that flick. Turns the defender, and this time around the flick goes for the score for Deep Space. What a nice cut there by Deep Space too. Deep Space player to leave the defender standing in the back turned to disc. So apparently our game clock was a little bit short, and forget everything I said about the cap, because it was only 60 minutes of playing time so far. We've got another 6 minutes until the game actually does end. So once the clock on your screen as well hits 10, this will be the finish, the timed cap. So we'll play on, which is really cool because both of these teams match up very well. Parks is going to walk to the break point. Seems to be some kind of coachy defensive play by Deep Space. The Tiefseetaucher managed very well to always find the open player. Just back to Bruce Hamley. Getting every other as a hander now. And that's on that far side. It's just really grinding hard on defense, wanting a break late in the game. But Tiefseetaucher don't seem to mind the added pressure on D. Hart getting every other now. And puts it into the end zone nicely. Oh, no, not quite there yet. Played again in a very good position, but Button gets there first. Right. Nice help defender. We have to go back and around again. Hammocking, making sure no one's behind her before she makes her cut. A little bit late timing wise, but well weighted. And that just no, not a lot of effort put into the end zone for that score, although they had to work very hard to keep possession there. During that time in the red zone, there was easily probably 20 passes just in front of the end zone until they get that easy outside in flick throw for Hammocking.
Okay. Da vorne. Da schau ich nochmal.
Come on, Tiefseetaucher! Let's go!
Has been only holds for quite some time. We'll see if Base can continue that pattern. They're moving from one side to the other. Bit of a collision. Not quite a collision, but scrambling for space in two space players. That inside shot is so nice for Archer. And the miscommunication on that around for deep space. Gavin with the inside shot. It stops. Inside to Gavin again, just in front of the end zone. Makes the push pass and looks for a continuation. Faked out and was broken nearly by Ross Täuscher. The Tiefseetaucher, and they are within one of finishing the game, so we've got a game to 15 for sure. It's as time expires now, but with a point cap of 15 anyway, it will be a game to 15. It'll be either Deep Space will have to go on a 5-point run, or Tiefseetaucher will get that for that last point in, maybe even with a break. So for this potentially last point, looks like they put out a normal defensive line with Seibert, Remy, Dobbs. Good Spieler on there, Kaiser. Play one more female matching player as Seibert is going to be pulling. Let's see who yet. And Nora Pöhl is also on there. For Tiefseetaucher. Nice quick work by Deep Space. They're asking with the inside angle and get it as well. Go back around now. They're already in the red zone. They can be as patient as Tiefseetaucher were before, and they don't have to be. Because that shot is such a nice one. The perfect timing on that cut for Baker. That nice leading pass, putting their body into the break, and then since they got that first break off, the second one is only a pass, straight one into the middle. Tiefseetaucher with the opportunity to end the game. Maya does not connect though, and Deep Space could get a break here and creep up on them at the business end of this first game of the day. Has to be a high stall count and redeemed by a break throw. Nice movement. Holzer getting very close, but not quite close enough. That's a high pass. Oh, that's what Holzer probably was punching right before. The two of them really looking quite alike with their similar hats and statue. Also all white shoes and socks. It's really hard to determine who's who. That Holzer to Hanschmeier. The two of them really not a lot of pressure. Working between the two of them with ease, and there seems to be a mix-up in the gender matchups. What a nice connection between those two Munich-based players. Mr. Heinrich comes in. Holzer looks for the end zone now. Fakes a little bit with a body. Hammocking with the score, and that is the win for Tiefseetaucher. They start their European campaign with a big upset over the European champions Deep Space. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a pleasure to bring you this first game. There's so much more coverage. I hope you exploit and enjoy all of it. And we will soon with the next matchup in the Open Division, which will be between the Panthers and One Try. So thank you everyone. I've been Christina Obermeyer, and I hope to hear you again soon.